so good afternoon everyone, welcome to Alum Bay Glass. So in a few minutes I'll be making a vase, I'll take you through each stage, but before I do that, I'll tell you all about the glass, what that's made from. So you probably aware that sand's involved, yeah, you knew that, didn't you? It's not just only sand off the beach, unless it's off our beach, which we have got some of the silica sand down there. But what they tend to do, they tend to mine it throughout the world, it's everywhere. So the sand in that jar there, that's silica sand, okay? And the tiny bits of silica, it's hard to see, those clear bits of silica in there. And what they do then, they add different chemicals in with this. So you get all different types of glass, but that's the main basis. So in the case of our one, they've used barium, that's a lead replacement, a lot safer. And along with other chemicals that help with melt, things like potash, soda ash, borax, zinc oxide, lime and dolomite. You can buy two ways. You can buy raw material, literally pelletized, dust-free, pre-mix you can buy from the company, or buy in the glass nuggets, and then just melt back some molten that way. That's what we tend to do. There's a choice really, it is more economical this way, the easier. So yeah, we buy these glass nuggets and melt. What we do at the end of the day, we just literally load back in 25 to 50 kilos usually. Depends who's in, what spin asks for, you know, in terms of size-wise, etc. So all you do, you're topping up a pot in the furnace. These are hot furnaces. There's two pots or crucibles down by you there. There's that one further along. I've got a new one over there. So they do hold about 110 kilos of glass. We just like to keep it topped up. So at the end of the day, we'll do that. It's looking like maybe 50 kilo top up later, depends really. So we've got two furnaces. This one's a bit different though with what's in there. The rod end or excess. So Steve's made the tortoise. Excess colour breaking off the ends of the irons there. A lot of it's going back through that furnace. Some of it we make into these little items, little face magnets. So we do a little bit what you call slumping. So some of the brighter colours, mainly off the blowing irons, we just slump those down and put a magnet on the back there, the googly eyes, a little bead for the nose. So yeah, beads are done from trimmings, mainly trimmings off vases and that. So we put everything to some use really. Melting glass back in the furnace, so you do get a slight tint to it, sort of greyish blue tint, but yeah, it's usable. And the more we can save this side, you know, on gas or raw materials, whatever we're doing, then that will reflect on the costing of the piece. We're trying to keep that down. So running two furnaces this time of year, then the winter will drop back to just the main one there. And yeah, it's about saving gas in the winter. Even this piece of equipment is used for reheating. We won't be using that so much in the winter months. If we could, we can share it, make some of the smaller blown metal, little mini perfume bottles. They're very popular. Not really good with those on the tool, they're too small, but yeah, we get a lot done in the winter, a lot of smaller items. Save up the rod end, and basically that furnace will be out end of October, early November, around to sort of March time next year. Right, so I'll be blowing on hot. I'm going to make a start. So you've got everyone in. Everyone's back on the floor. So have a little dip in. Start to turn. Across the surface, up and out. They go we call a gather on the end there. Little trail coming off there. So you've got to keep it turning, keep it in place. Now, it's very important. You see, everyone's constantly, those in the chair, it's constantly turning, keeping that glass in place on the end there. And the colours we're using are also glass, coloured glass that we buy in. And that can be anything to, from a powder like this one, up to the larger chip forms. So you've got the penguin made down there. So and on the penguin, Steve, on the tortoise, Sam, he's making lighthouses on the table there, casting down into the mould. That's a tricky one, it's quite tight that mould, but we do a little bit. We don't do animals. We do a little bit of mould work, not loads, but yeah, it's some tricky item to do that. So back to the colour. Coloured glass made of the different metal oxides. Black's made of cobalt, iron and manganese. Cobalt though, on its own, gives you dark blue glass. Chromium green, selenium reds, cadmium yellows. Even gold's used. Gold's used for rubies, pinks, amethyst, all made of gold. Yeah, it's loads of colours you get. Right, at this stage, I need to get a little bubble in this in a minute. So just literally hold that in there. Melting the colour in, using the table. That's straight down. Slow. Okay, bubbles in. So what I'm doing, I'm blowing far. I was breathing in and out. Smart that out there. Yeah, so it's a really small thick full technique. So newspapers being used a lot here for shaping. With the newspaper pad, you can tape it straight and round. You can even squeeze the glass. You can do a foot. So literally cast glass on, squeeze that foot into shape. Look at beeswax on those, and I'm ready to get more glass. So I'm not quite up to size yet. I need to take it back. Let's get some more glass over the top. So just with a little pushing up to the depth of that first one. Second gather, second get back, right down to it. Right, so let's get this metal down a bit. Yeah, I just want to drop that down a little bit there in temperature. Have to slide the hand up, there you go. So that's much more flat, that's easier to handle. And blow nice, do pick a little bit more heat up, not much, a little bit more when I've got it. Now I've got silver up here. Set that around the outside. And push down. So I'm going to close off the gap on the bottom. There you go, right, it's got silver on. So back to the chair. Yeah, so back and just round that off. And I need to get a little bit more glass for what we call a strap or a shroud. So you match a little bit on the second one of these, okay, right, here we go. Get that little gather on the end there. Right, so let's get the black on this. Look, someone's coming through my speaker, hopefully not from those entertainers. Dodgy punch to do your show. Oh, maybe my way. So, yeah, see that then. Now, with that glass there, what I'm going to do is put that on the top ends. Yes. Someone's bleeding over our system, so I don't do this way. But yeah, so it does happen. Hopefully not too much. I do get it all. Now with the fretwork, just going to nut that in and then get that nice and smooth on the surface. So you can't leave it like that. Be more prone to chipping and breaking. So I'm just going to get that mounted in. I'll start to flow straight. So we're all basically working off lists and that given to us, or just have a look, plan the day out from the beginning, see who's in, what glass we're going to use, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it does depend on a few more things, but it's really obviously very important to keep that shop topped up with all that's needed. Now I've just got that hot enough to embed the strap work into the outside, now ready to blow and start to shape things. It's a tricky colour this one, so you can't get it as much as you'd like to silverly. Stretch out a bit. So I've got to get the width on here, and also a little bit of length, not too much, so sort of blowing and stretching. Now if I was making a big wide flower vase, I was really starting to swing and stretch this. But in the case of this one, I'm going to do a tapered, so I need to so I need to cut a little neck in. So I'm going to cut in firstly on the nose. Just want to pull slightly as I do so. Blow that a little bit. And then this time, stretch the neck. So it'll be great. Get right back in there, go through, just past the burner. Get that hot. Come back to the chair. Start to pull away. Right, stretch that neck. Come back in. There we go. So I've got a little neck on that for the top part. Right now, more size required before I go for tapering and things. I've got to be careful not to overblow and make it too thin, especially midway and down in the bottom. So I'm just getting a little soak in there. Okay. A bit more size. Let's get that under control. Right, I think I'm ready to start the tapering, so get a bit more heat there. Right. Yeah, now this is you've got to be careful. I'm going to try and heat in half of the face, so the lower half there, just try and get that hot. Then I'm going to start to swing the piece to get the taper started in the bottom half. So really it's just a case of getting that enough heat in really. There you go, so those penguins we made down there. So we do the small penguins, we do the large, and then we've got the emperor. Each bigger. So depends what's needed. But I start to swing this out now. Straps pull it in a little bit. So what it's trying to do is absorb a little bit there. I'll have to blow that back out. So I've got a nice gather of glass, but when you blow it, sometimes yeah, sometimes when you blow, you get a thinner area, and I didn't want to do that then. That's glassmaker for you. So no matter how long you do it for, it will try and catch you out. Right, so let's try and take this a bit before I figure out that top bit, because blowing is too thin now, so just resolving the whole thing there, which I don't know. Get that bit at the bottom there, and just come back and start to push that paper out, get that base. The base is fine in terms of thickness, it's not too flat. Right, I just want to get that. Right there. Right, let's just see that flat the face, so I'm going to have to sort of knock this off and go for the transfer. Just shrink that, that's flat. Yeah, we'll do it, I've done that for a while. Right, so let's get master check. Push, base, that base. Right, let's go in on the neck there, just get that groove, line, weaken. What I'm trying to do is weaken it there. Right, so let's get a tap in the second, let's get this off. Okay. Bit tight, obviously, there's a room for fusing. Yeah, break that off. Turn it. Bring it back up. Okay, so just using a little bit of glass, nothing too much. So this is to pick it back up with a punch tool. Yeah, so that little bit of glass then. Coned off. Flattened off. Aim for the centre there, push. Weld that up. Right, so let's get back in the heat. And let's get the top up. So yeah, just want it like a little bit thin on the top there. Take the glasses. I can't go like that for what? Can't remember the minutes since last did that, but yeah, it's running out really strange from the top there. Anyway, I've not been making glass long, only about 30 odd years on and off, so I've not quite got that hang of it yet, you know. So, heating in the top there, I'm just going to trim the top edge. So just put it a little bit and later. So to get that, pull that out. There's a little bit there. It's not in on one side. Now I will be amazed if this does actually come off. See that shoulder's really off there. So that's a taper part, but not as it should be. There you go. Some you win, some you lose. But I can't remember the last time I blew like that for me. You know, you might get a little thin base out then, but the top bit there is yeah. Right, so the flash that right through. Just trying to put a little bit of heat on the punchy there, just so you see what happens when I tap it. Came off right. Still, put a 2000-degree flame on base. I have other ideas. No, it's actually taking that glass. So it's a bit of what we call in the trade a wonky donkey, but it's going in the oven. So yeah, I'll put it in there. That goes a second, or a third, actually. Yeah, so it's just, I feel like just flavour around a certain angle on the shelf, but instead of spinning a little bit. So we can't leave it to cool down on its own, cool too quick and stress to build up and it'll break into loads of pieces. So all the glass like